Today on The Joy of Editing, I'm pulling out Nik Silver effects from the Nik Collection 6. I'll be doing a black and white conversion of a mandrill. Stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome to The Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. Today I thought I'd pull out Nik Silver effects from the Nik Collection 6. I really enjoy working with Nik Silver effects because the black and white conversions can come out very striking. I found this stock image online of a mandrill on Pexels. I really like this image, but I wanted to change some things in it, and I used Photoshop's generative fill to do that. I didn't like this light area up here because after the black and white conversion, my eye was being pulled up into this area, and I felt, well, you know what, now that we have generative fill in Photoshop, I can get rid of this very easily. And I didn't like the fact that the mandrill was holding a rope, so I changed that. And I also extended the right and the left sides and did a crop on it, an 8x10 crop, and now it looks like this. So I'm much happier. So this top around the monkey is going to look a lot better in the conversion. So next up, we're going to go ahead and do the conversion with Silver Effects. Now, to launch Silver Effects, what you need to do in Photoshop is come up and click on File and go to Automate, and then you're going to find the Nik Collection 6 palette. Click on that, and now you have all the different Nik filters inside of here. And you'll notice I have my background layer here. Nik is nice because you don't even have to duplicate that background layer. It does it for you. So we'll just click on Nik 6 Silver Effects. We'll launch Silver Effects, and as you can see, it makes the new layer for us already. Now, here's a cool feature with Silver Effects. If you want to convert this into a smart object, and say you forgot to do it when you were in Photoshop, you could come right here and click on Convert to Smart Object. This warning comes up, select the option to convert layer to a smart object, and the plugin will function as a smart filter. The brush will be deactivated. Just click OK. And now that we have a smart object, Silver Effects acts as a smart filter, so we could come back and alter things later if we need to. And now it's time to have some fun. Now we're starting out in neutral right here. We're actually on neutral, which is a basic black and white conversion. And I usually start from neutral myself, but we also have all these different presets. And you'll notice I'm on all right now. There's 64 different presets, and they also break them up here into categories. And you can also have custom presets. I don't have any because, again, I like to work from neutral. That's just me. But I'll show you how these sliders work over here and how I turn this into the black and white conversion that I want. But you can click on these presets and see what kind of different looks you could get. And sometimes it's a good way to start just to see what is possible with Nik Silver Effects. So these are a lot of fun to really look at, and you may find one that you like, and then you can alter it according to your vision for the image. But let's start out with neutral. Now, if you're into black and white photography, you're going to love Nik Silver Effects because there is so much in here that you can use to alter and make that image just the way you would like it. Let me scroll down through here and just show you some of the options. Like you have Clear View, the Clear View filter for dehazing. Really works nicely when you're working with black and white images if you want some extra detail and contrast. You have a color filter, which emulates putting a color filter on your lens. I'll be using that today. You have sensitivity. You have all kinds of different film types that you can use. I'm just using neutral today, as I said. You have levels and curves. You can add film grain. You can do toning like split toning, add vignettes. You can burn edges. You can add image borders. I mean, there's so much that you can do here to craft the perfect black and white image. By the way, in the description below this video, I have links for the Nik Collection 6 as well as other DxO products. If you use my affiliate links, I make a small commission, and this helps me to keep tutorials coming your way. So when you use my links, I really appreciate that, and thank you. Now, before I start adjusting sliders, I want you to notice up here at the top. You see right here, all these different swatches. These are different zones, and think Ansel Adams, the zone system. So this is zone 0, and every time you hover over a zone, you can see colors in there where you're hitting on all the different zones in this black and white image. And I'm hitting all the zones up to zone 10, and right now I'm going to click on zone 10 because you can see these lines right here on the mandrill's face. That's clipping a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, the first adjustment I'll make is, and if you click any one of these zones, you'll keep that on so you can see the clipping lines or the lines showing you where that zone is hitting. And what I want to do here is take my highlight slider and I'm just going to drag it to the left to like right here, just till that clipping goes away. So I know I don't have any clipping here. I don't mind a little clipping in the blacks. You can see it around the hand of the mandrel right there. So that's cool. I just have a little bit of clipping in the black at this point. So no problem. So I'm going to unclick this. We can get started. But now I know I'm not clipping my whites. And all that means is you won't see any detail in the lightest lights. But also, if you're making a print, what happens is you will not put any ink down on that area of the paper, which can look kind of funky in the light. If you look at your image and you shift it in the light a little bit, you'll see that no ink has gone down there, and people will say, what the heck is that? So it's good not to clip your whites when you're doing this. So I give you that as a little tip. Now, this area right here is just brightness adjustments. Pretty nice, right? You have regular brightness, you have highlights, midtone shadows, and one of my favorites, dynamic brightness. This dynamically adjusts the brightness in a nice, beautiful way. So if I move this to the right, you know, it's kind of a tame brightness adjustment where it's not going to throw things way off. So let me double click this and reset it. See, if I take the regular brightness slider and drag it to the right, it'll just go really bright, right? I'm going to double click it. But the dynamic brightness slider, if I drag it the whole way to the right, you notice we still see a lot of different tones in here, which is really nice. Now, I don't want to go that way. Let me double click this. I actually want to go to the left. So what I'm going to do is move it to the left over to like right here, minus 40%. But isn't that nice? And then I can shut off my global adjustments here by just clicking this button right here. And we can see there's the before and there is the after. So already really nice, and that dynamic brightness is good. And I think I'm good on my midtones and shadows. I'll come back to these if I need to, but I'm happy with that. Now we're going to move to contrast. And I think I want to bump up the overall contrast a little bit. Contrast is very important in black and white images. And I'm going to take this contrast, not too crazy here, but up to like a 19, I think, right there. And then we have amplify whites, and we have amplify blacks, and then we have soft contrast. It's kind of like this dynamic brightness. And what I want to do with this is, see, if I take this slider and drag it to the right, we'll add more contrast. It's kind of like a dynamic contrast. But what I want to do is take some of the contrast away. So I'm going to move this to the left over here to like minus 32 right there. And I like how that looks. But now I want to amplify those blacks a little bit. So we could take this slider and we can drag it to the right. See how the blacks start to get really dark, but really in a nice way. But I'm still seeing a lot of nice detail back in here. And I want to take this over to right here at 54. I think that looks really nice. Already, this image is looking really good to me. And now we come to one of my favorite sections, and that is structure. We have overall structure, but then we can break structure down to just highlight structure, midtone structure, shadow blacks, and fine structure. But we can also take structure away by moving to the left. Moving to the right, see right now we're at 0% and everything is centered out. If you move to the right, you're going to add structure. If you move to the left, you'll take structure away. So bear that in mind, because I will be taking some structure away out of this image. But first off, I want to add some structure, and this is overall structure. And I'll drag this right so you can really see that structure. You can really bring it out. Now, I don't want to go crazy here, but structure in a black and white image is a beautiful thing. So I'm going to take this to like 24%. And now for the highlights, I want to take that highlight structure and back it off. So in other words, take structure away from the highlights. And I think I'm going to go right here at minus 41%. And now we have midtone. So I could take this to the right and add midtone structure. You see that? Or in my case, I want to take a little bit of that away because I have nice soft fur on this monkey. Maybe it's not super soft fur, right? I would never want to get close to one of these. I called it a monkey, but it's a mandrill, I believe, technically. Minus 30 there. And then let's go to shadows, and then we could take shadow structure. I'll take it to the right so you can see what it does. You see that? And sometimes you want that, but in my case, I'm going to take some of that away, and I'm going to take it down to like 22%. And then we have structure just in the blacks, which I'm not going to touch. And then we have fine structure. I'm going to bring up the fine structure a little bit. That's all the little detailed areas. So let me take this to the right. You can see that. Like, see how the hairs really start to pop out? But I'm just going to take mine over to like right there, 47%. And now we can compare. If you come up here and click and hold, left click with your mouse, there's the before and there's the after. And then I like this one right here, like a split screen. If you click right here, and then you can take this and drag it across. So I've come from here and come to here, but that's pretty dramatic, wouldn't you say? And then if you click on compare, you can see the edit so far. Now back up here in the contrast adjustments, I did not adjust amplify whites, but let me show you what it does. Right now it's at 0% by default, so I'm going to start to drag it to the right and watch all the whites start to really pop up. You see that? So if you need to bring up some more whites in your image, you may want that look right there. So if you want that, you know how to get it. But play with all these sliders and you'll see what they do. But I'm not filling the amplify whites in this image, so I'm just going to drag this to the left and shut off the amplify whites. Now, a couple more things and we'll be done. We're going to come here to color filter. Now, as I said earlier, color filter, this would emulate what we would do back in the black and white film days, where we would put a certain color filter on our lens to bring out certain colors. In other words, make a certain color look lighter or darker, to change it, to alter it. So I'll show you how we can use it here on this image. How I like to use this is start with the strength. Take the strength. Now, right now we're set for red. You see that on hue? So what we're going to do is drag up the strength here, and I'm going to drag it up to like right around 42%. Now that's what a red filter would look like if you processed the black and white image and you had a red filter on your camera lens. But the beautiful thing here is we could shift through the different hues and find a hue that we like. But you notice as I drag through here with that strength at 42%, you can see how the different color filters would act on this image here. And you just have to slide and stop at the area that you like. And in my case, I liked it right here at 95%. And then we can shut the color filter off by clicking this right here. There, it's off. And now it's on. And now I think it's a little too strong, so I'm going to back off on the strength, and I'm going to pull it back to right there, 37%. Here's the before, and here's the after. Now, the last thing I want to do is scroll the whole way down, and we're going to come into finishing adjustments. And what I want to do is add a bit of a vignette. Now, here's a drop down right here. Right now, vignette is off, so click the drop down, and you could hover through the different vignettes. And there's some presets here, like here's lens fall off. 1, lens fall off 2, it's a little more intense. Here's lens fall off 3, it's even more intense. Here's like a white frame 1, white frame 2, black frame 1, black frame 2. I'm going to use lens fall off 1. I really like that. And that defaults at a -10 on the amount. Now, if you go to the left, you'll darken the edges. If you go to the right, you'll lighten them. But I like that at -10. But then we can change our shape. Right now, we're set at circle. I'm going to drag this to the right and go to a rectangle. Now let me shut off the finishing touches. Here it is without the vignette, and here it is with, and I really like that. I'll show you one more thing. I'm not going to add it here, but you can add image borders. So this is a drop down. If you click this, you can hover through all these different image borders here. And sometimes the black and white looks nice if you want to throw a border on there. So I just thought I'd point that out to you. There's how many? 14 different types of borders that you can try. I do like the borders, and occasionally I use them, but for now, I'm not. Isn't this a great program, though? I really love it. Let's go to the split screen. Let me click on this, and we'll drag this across. So we started out here, and now we end up here. But I think this image looks striking in a black and white. But there you go. And now when we're done, all we need to do is click Apply. That'll send us back into Photoshop. And remember, this is a smart object, so now this acts as a smart filter, so we can always double-click Nix 6 Silver Efex and go right back in and make some tweaks if we need to. Well, there it is, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this black and white conversion using Nix Silver Efex, part of Nik Collection 6 of this mandrel. I really enjoyed doing this video today. I hope you enjoyed it too. Hey, if you enjoyed today's tutorial, please give it a like. Share it with your friends, and if you're not yet a subscriber, please subscribe and click that bell notification icon. And then also click all so that you'll receive all notifications, and then every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll get notified. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today on The Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. I will see you all right here next time, but until then, happy editing!